Josie Duggar refuses college, shocks family with her bold decision. Josie Duggar has once again captured public attention, but this time not for the reasons fans might have expected. The youngest daughter of the Duggar family has made a bold and definitive decision about her future that has sparked both curiosity and conflict within her household. She has announced that she will not be attending college or any formal educational institution. Instead, Josie has decided to continue her education at home, under the supervision of her parents, stating that she feels most comfortable and supported within the familiar environment of her family home. This announcement has created ripples across social media platforms and stirred debate among followers who have long observed the Duggar family's unique approach to education, parenting, and personal development. Josie's choice reflects more than just a personal preference. It represents a continuation of the deeply rooted traditions that have long defined the Duggar family's philosophy on life and learning. From an early age, the Duggar children were homeschooled, following a curriculum that emphasized moral values, religious faith, and family-centered principles over conventional academic structures. This system, developed under the guidance of their parents, was designed to protect the children from what they viewed as the negative influences of modern education while reinforcing their spiritual foundation. For Josie, who has grown up entirely under this system, the decision to remain at home for her continued education might seem like a natural extension of the only learning environment she has ever known. Yet for observers and some family members, it represents a crossroads in how the Duggar legacy interacts with changing times and modern expectations. Inside the Duggar home, sources suggest that Josie's declaration has not come without internal tension. While her parents, particularly her mother, reportedly support her choice and are relieved to see her prioritizing family values, some of her older siblings have expressed quiet frustration. They believe that education can serve as a bridge to independence, critical thinking, and opportunity beyond the walls of their family compound. This difference in perspective has quietly divided opinions within the family, with some arguing that the traditional path offers security and faith-based stability, while others see the value of formal education in empowering the next generation to navigate the modern world with broader perspectives. Experts observing the Duggar family dynamics point out that Josie's decision brings to light a recurring theme in families built around strict ideological systems. The question of whether to adhere to tradition or embrace modern evolution is one that many conservative families face. In Josie's case, the decision to remain at home could be seen both as a personal comfort and as an expression of familial loyalty. Yet it also underscores the limitations that come with growing up in a closely controlled environment. Psychologists suggest that while homeschooling can provide individualized attention and strong moral guidance, it can also restrict exposure to diverse ideas, limit social interaction, and make the transition to adult independence more challenging. For Josie, who has lived her entire life in the public eye, yet within the protective boundaries of her parents' rules, the path forward may involve navigating these conflicting realities. Fans have expressed mixed reactions online. Some have applauded Josie's decision, praising her for choosing what feels right for her rather than succumbing to external pressures. They see her as a young woman who knows her values and is not afraid to stand by them, especially in an era where individual identity often clashes with social expectation. Others, however, express concern that the choice reflects a lack of autonomy, suggesting that the influence of her parents may be limiting her opportunities for personal growth and self-discovery. On discussion forums, many fans have debated whether Josie's announcement is truly her own choice or a reflection of the environment in which she was raised, a debate that highlights the ongoing fascination with how much control exists within the Duggar household. Educational experts analyzing the situation note that the decision not to attend college does not necessarily equate to the absence of ambition or success. In many cases, non-traditional educational paths can lead to fulfilling careers, especially when supported by strong personal motivation and discipline. However, they also caution that education is more than the acquisition of knowledge. It is an avenue for developing emotional intelligence, social resilience, and independent thought. For someone like Josie, who has lived her entire life under media scrutiny and family supervision, Josie Duggar refuses college, shocks family with her bold decision. Josie Duggar has once again captured public attention, but this time not for the reasons fans might have expected. The youngest daughter of the Duggar family has made a bold and definitive decision about her future that has sparked both curiosity and conflict within her household. She has announced that she will not be attending college or any formal educational institution. Instead, Josie has decided to continue her education at home, under the supervision of her parents, stating that she feels most comfortable and supported within the familiar environment of her family home. This announcement has created ripples across social media platforms and stirred debate among followers who have long observed the Duggar family's unique approach to education, parenting, and personal development. Josie's stepping into a broader world of education might have offered experiences beyond academic learning, experiences that foster adaptability and self-confidence. By choosing to remain at home, she is prioritizing emotional security over exploration, a decision that can be both protective and limiting, depending on how she approaches her personal development in the coming years. Within the Duggar family, such decisions carry symbolic weight. Josie's older siblings have taken diverse paths, some choosing to continue with family traditions, while others have quietly distanced themselves from the household's rigid norms. Her decision, therefore, serves as a statement about the evolving balance between family loyalty and personal freedom. For Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar, the parents who built their public image around their values of faith, discipline, and home-based education, Josie's choice reinforces their core belief that true learning begins within the home. To them, it is less about academic degrees and more about moral formation and spiritual integrity. Their public statements have often emphasized that education should prepare children to serve their faith and families, rather than prioritize individual ambition or societal status. However, this philosophy is increasingly being challenged as the world evolves and the younger Duggar generation faces realities that differ from those of their parents' time. The rise of digital education, online learning, and global connectivity offers new opportunities for knowledge and interaction that were previously unimaginable. In this context, Josie's choice to reject institutional education becomes part of a broader conversation about how young adults from traditional families adapt to a rapidly changing world. Sociologists observing the Duggar family point out that this generational shift often manifests in subtle forms of resistance or reassertion, where each child either embraces or redefines the family's legacy according to their personal experiences. Josie's reaffirmation of home learning, then, might be both an act of continuity and an attempt to find stability in a world that feels uncertain. Emotionally, this situation has taken a toll on family unity. Sources close to the family describe moments of quiet disagreement, with some members privately expressing frustration about Josie's limited exposure to external perspectives. Yet the Duggars have also long been known for their ability to present a unified front in public, emphasizing forgiveness, communication, and faith as guiding principles in moments of internal discord. For Josie, being the youngest daughter in such a large family comes with unique pressures, expectations to uphold family values while also navigating her own identity. Her decision, while deeply personal, becomes part of a much larger narrative about the struggle between self-determination and inherited belief. Public fascination with Josie's choice also reflects a cultural divide over the meaning of education itself. In a society that increasingly values higher education as a measure of success, her decision to forego college challenges mainstream assumptions. It raises important questions about what constitutes true learning, fulfillment, and purpose. Can education be measured by degrees and credentials, or does it lie in the lessons learned through faith, family, and life experience? For many viewers, Josie's story becomes a mirror reflecting their own internal debates about success, identity, and authenticity in a world that often equates achievement with conformity. Experts in youth development highlight that Josie's situation can serve as a learning opportunity for audiences. It underscores the importance of supporting young people in making informed choices about their education and future, even when those choices diverge from societal norms. True empowerment, they argue, comes not from forcing conformity to external expectations, but from fostering self-awareness, critical thinking, and personal responsibility. If Josie's decision genuinely stems from her own conviction, then it represents a form of courage, one that values emotional well-being and family connection over societal approval. However, if her choice is shaped primarily by familial pressure, it could also reflect the challenges of growing up in an environment where independence is often framed as disobedience. Financially, the decision to remain at home may also have practical implications. The cost of college education in the United States continues to rise, placing immense pressure on families. For the Duggars, who have faced financial controversies and shifting sources of income following the end of their television show, the idea of home-based learning might also serve as a strategic choice that aligns with both their values and economic reality. Stepping into a broader world of education might have offered experiences beyond academic. Staying home allows Josie to continue her studies without the burden of tuition fees while maintaining her presence in the family's daily life, a factor that also reinforces the unity and interdependence that have long defined the Duggar household. As the discussion continues, fans and experts alike await to see how Josie's path unfolds. Will she find ways to integrate modern resources, such as online education or mentorship programs, into her home learning? Will her decision inspire younger fans to think differently about education, or will it reinforce debates about freedom and control within conservative families? Only time will tell how this chapter shapes her growth and the broader narrative of the Duggar family legacy. Josie Duggar's decision to remain home for her studies has not only shaken the calm within her household, but has also opened a Pandora's box of hidden emotions, unspoken fears, and long-buried family tensions. What seemed like a simple announcement from the youngest Duggar daughter has now unfolded into a deep and layered family conflict, one that goes far beyond education. Beneath the polished smiles and quiet statements lies a struggle between generations, between old beliefs and modern reality, between control and independence. This is not just about whether Josie attends college. It is about what the Duggar family stands for, how much they are willing to change, and what they might lose in the process. Inside the sprawling Duggar home, conversations have reportedly become heavier and more guarded. Michelle, the matriarch, continues to defend Josie's decision, reminding everyone that home education has always been the Duggar way. She insists that it's not about fear of the outside world, but about preserving moral integrity and spiritual direction. Yet others in the family are not entirely convinced. Some of Josie's older siblings, who have quietly pursued independent lives outside the strict family bubble, see her choice as a symbol of the past clinging to the future. They whisper, sometimes in private calls and messages, that Josie's innocence is being used to reinforce the old order, to keep the Duggar image intact even as the world around them changes. Jim Bob, ever the strategist and patriarch, has reportedly taken a firmer stance. For him, Josie's decision represents victory, proof that his system still works, that the youngest child remains loyal to the family's foundation. But behind that calm exterior there is a hint of insecurity. The Duggar name, once synonymous with unity and faith, has become entangled in public controversy, legal battles, and shifting public opinion. Jim Bob knows that every choice made by his children now carries the weight of the family's entire reputation. Allowing Josie to go out and live a life different from the Duggar mold would risk more than just her future. It could unravel the very narrative he has spent decades building. Those close to the family say this internal conflict has created several divides. Family gatherings, once filled with laughter and music, now come with quiet caution. Josie, caught in the middle, reportedly feels torn between loyalty and curiosity. On one hand, she loves her parents deeply and genuinely believes in their vision of faith-based education. On the other, she has watched her older sisters explore the world, meet new people, and experience opportunities she has only seen through screens. It is a quiet war within her heart, the comfort of home versus the call of the unknown. Meanwhile, online communities are buzzing with speculation. Some fans argue that Josie's decision is simply a reflection of her sheltered upbringing and not necessarily a rejection of education itself. Others believe there's more to the story, that the Duggar parents are holding tighter control over the youngest children as the family's influence fades from public view. Commentators point out that the Duggars have always operated within a carefully maintained system of control, one built around appearances and loyalty. Josie's announcement, in that light, becomes more than a personal decision. It becomes a strategic move, a reminder to the public that the Duggar faith structure still stands firm. What adds complexity to this story is how the Duggar family's internal image contrasts with what happens behind closed doors. According to family acquaintances, discussions about Josie's future have turned into debates about the family's direction as a whole. Some siblings, especially those now living independently, believe the Duggars must adapt or risk losing relevance entirely. They argue that modern faith-based families can still embrace education and individuality without compromising spiritual values. Others, however, see adaptation as a slippery slope, a pathway toward worldly distraction, and it's a philosophical divide that mirrors countless generational conflicts in conservative families across America. But within the Duggar home, it carries the added weight of fame, scrutiny, and legacy. Josie herself has become a symbol of this tension. Observers note that she seems shy but strong-willed, shaped by her parents' teachings yet quietly questioning their limits. In family interviews, her calm composure masks an inner curiosity that sometimes slips through when she talks about her dreams or the things she wants to learn. Yet, those dreams remain confined within boundaries: home-based learning, faith studies, online programs approved by her parents, and volunteer work centered around the family's church community. To the outside world, it may appear peaceful, but to those who look closer, it reflects the limits of a young girl trying to find her place in a tightly controlled universe. The Duggar family has always thrived on projecting unity, but this new situation threatens that image more than ever before. Insiders reveal that some of Josie's siblings have stopped visiting as frequently, finding the atmosphere at home increasingly tense. Michelle continues to reassure them that everything is fine, that Josie's education will be rich, meaningful, and guided by faith. Yet behind her soft-spoken tone lies the silent weight of a mother who has seen her family fracture over the years, first from public scandals, then from differing beliefs, and now from the simple question of how to educate a daughter. Experts in family psychology describe this situation as a natural yet painful evolution. In large families with strong ideological systems, the youngest members often become battlegrounds for unresolved generational conflict. The older ones have already tested boundaries, while the youngest are expected to preserve what remains of the old ways. Josie's case, they suggest, is not just about school but about identity. It's about how much of oneself can be shaped by love and belief before that same love begins to limit personal freedom. Financial observers also add another layer to this ongoing drama. With the family's TV show no longer on air and the public spotlight dimmer than before, the Duggar name now relies more on legacy and media appearances than active engagement. Keeping Josie close to home ensures that the family can maintain a familiar presence and narrative in online spaces. It's a way to remind followers that the Duggar lifestyle, disciplined, faith-centered, and homebound, still exists in a world that has largely moved on. Some critics believe this is a strategic choice disguised as a personal one, designed to keep public interest alive while avoiding controversy. Public reaction remains divided but intense. On social media, older fans express admiration for the Duggars' consistency, calling Josie's decision a sign of moral strength in a confusing world. Younger audiences, however, see it differently. They describe the situation as a cautionary tale, a reminder of how easily family loyalty can blur the lines between protection and control. For them, Josie's story is not about rejecting education but about understanding the difference between guidance and restriction. The emotional undertone of this story cannot be ignored. Josie's siblings, despite their differences, care deeply for her. Some have reportedly tried to encourage her to at least explore online college programs, offering to help her apply or connect with supportive mentors. Others stay silent, afraid of upsetting the fragile peace at home. Josie, for her part, continues to express gratitude for her family's love, while quietly wondering about the world beyond her doorstep. It's a portrait of quiet conflict, love wrapped in control, faith